One quiet moment with my CEO changed my. The first warning came before she touched me. A pause. Too quiet. The kind that tells you something irreversible is about to happen. When the CEO stepped closer and raised her hands toward my tie, the room seemed to hold its breath. Her fingers brushed the knot at my collar, calm, precise, and suddenly I was aware of everything. My pulse. The glass walls. The city waking up behind her in steel and light. I didn't know then that someone was watching us through the hallway cameras. And that this moment would follow both of us for years. My name is Daniel Brooks. Back then, I was invisible by design, a mid-level analyst in a Chicago firm where people like me survived by staying quiet and working late. My life was numbers, deadlines, and the constant fear of being replaceable. She was Eleanor Grant. CEO. Untouchable. A name that shut rooms down. That morning was supposed to decide my future. One presentation. One shot. I hadn't slept. My tie was crooked no matter how many times I tried to fix it. I stood alone in the boardroom, rehearsing lines under my breath, when the door opened. Eleanor walked in alone. No assistants. No armor. She stopped when she saw me struggling. I expected a comment. A cold glance. Instead, she stepped closer. "Hold still," she said quietly. Her hands fixed my tie. That was it. No smile. No flirtation. Just a human gesture in a place where humanity was usually expensive. But it shook me. Not because it was intimate, but because it was kind. She leaned in slightly and whispered, almost to herself. People break under pressure when no one notices. Then she stepped back. Wall restored. The presentation went better than anything I'd ever done. I didn't rush. I didn't panic. For once, I felt seen. When it ended, Eleanor nodded once. Just once. But it felt louder than applause. Then she disappeared again. Days passed. Weeks. She was distant. Professional. Untouchable. I convinced myself. Weeks. She was distant. Professional. Untouchable. I convinced myself I'd imagined that moment until the crisis hit. Stock dropped overnight. Rumors leaked. The board turned hostile. Pressure thickened the air. That's when I noticed something else. Security watching more closely. Meetings recorded. Whispers about loyalty. One night, long after everyone left, I found Eleanor alone in her office. The city glowed outside, indifferent. She looked smaller than her reputation. "I shouldn't be here," I said. "I know," she replied. "Sit anyway." She didn't talk about profits or strategy. She talked about loneliness. About how power isolates. About how every decision costs someone something, and how heavy that gets when you're the one holding the knife. I listened. Not as an employee. As a human being. From that night on, she trusted me. With work. With decisions. With silence. Nothing crossed a line. But everything changed. The company stabilized. The board backed off. And then, just as suddenly, Eleanor announced her resignation. Shock everywhere. When our eyes met across the room, there was no tension left. Only peace. Weeks later, I received a handwritten note. "You reminded me that leadership without kindness is just control. Thank you for seeing me when it was easier not to." I keep that note in my desk drawer. Because some moments don't become scandals. They become anchors. And sometimes, the thing that changes your life isn't what you take. It's what you choose not to.